we will proceed with our next program, which will be on the Ibadah-friendly hospital updates. This time, inshallah, we have invited our brother, Dr. Usman Jaafar from Islamabad. He is a physician, assistant professor of medicine at the Islamabad Medical and Dental College, and currently the vice president of the Al-Hidmat Foundation, Pakistan. Also the medical superintendent of Ahmad Razi Hospital at Rawalpindi, which also being run by the Al-Hidmat. I was told that he will have only half of the session, and that was later on he has to transfer the trust responsibility to Professor Tahir, and I hope we can finish it within 30 minutes, inshallah. To you, Brother Osman, please, the floor is yours, inshallah.
Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, Salatu wassalamu ala Rasulihil Kareem, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Qala Allah Ta'ala, إن الدين عند الله الإسلام وقال تعالى ومن يبتغي غير الإسلام دينا فلن يقبل منه. Thank you very much, Brother Isaac Masood. It's a pleasure to be in this conference, and I am really happy to be at Indonesia again, although it's virtual. Last time it was about 2 years back. Last time it was about 2 years back at the end of February and start of March 2020 that I was there at Jakarta, and I still remember those very good time. We had very great hospitality by our Indonesian brothers there. I especially thank Dr. Aisha Siti, who was our host there. And we had the honor to listen to your very knowledgeable Vice President, His Excellency Mr. Maruf Amin. And I still remember that he narrated that hadith that Man kana akhiru kalamihi la ilaha illallah dakhala al-jannah. And that hadith really remained in my mind throughout that COVID period when we dealt with our patients in the wards. And we faced those times of death around us. So that was a great time. And then we come to here at Pakistan. And if you see, this is the map of Pakistan, if I could share. You see that there are many nationalities here in Pakistan. These different colors depict different nationalities here in this country. And the thing that binds all those people in this country is Islam, the Deen. We never had this country, Pakistan, our beloved country, before 1947. And it's only because of Deenul Islam that today we have this country which binds different nationalities together into one nation. And that is the bond between us and Indonesia, between us and Malaysia, and all the Muslims around the world. So, Assalamualaikum from Pakistan to everybody around the world. So, my presentation would be divided into two parts. One would be a general overview of the efforts of Al-Khidmat Health Foundation, which is an umbrella organization looking after many hospitals across the country, many Islamic hospitals across the country. And the second part would be delivered by our brother, Dr. Muhammad Tahir, who is Secretary General of Pakistan Islamic Medical Association. And he would be discussing a case study of implementation of Islamic hospital guidelines at one particular hospital. So our family of Islamic hospitals here in Pakistan is growing, alhamdulillah. And many organizations have now adopted this idea. Currently, We have around 50 hospitals in Pakistan which are working and trying to work on the principles of Islamic hospital, Ibadah-friendly hospital in Pakistan. These 50 hospitals comprise of about 3,000, more than 3,000 beds. And 4 major organizations have become a part of this idea. One is Al-Khidmat Health Foundation, which oversees around 40 hospitals. Pakistan Islamic Medical Association, I'm a member of Fima. Peshawar Medical College and its 3 teaching hospitals comprising of around 600 beds have become the part of this Islamic hospital drive. And Rifa International University and its teaching hospitals have recently joined in this great endeavor. Our Islamic hospitals during the time of COVID have participated to the community, alhamdulillah, with adoption of 3 main principles. One was to keep our hospital facilities open. This was a big challenge right in the beginning of the epidemic, because at that time hospitals were closing out of fear, out of extraordinary care. But we, the Islamic hospitals, tried to keep our facilities open because people needed those essential services like mother and child health and normal routine medical services. We took precautions, but our attitude was to avoid extraordinary fears, unnecessary fears. So taking precautions but avoiding fear was a strategy which we adopted during COVID. And then thirdly, we collaborated with the government. This was a step which was taken and is being pursued throughout the COVID period. When the government decided that different hospitals should open up their facilities for COVID patients, we did it, and many of our hospitals started admitting COVID patients there. Then in the vaccination drive, we are still participating with the government. At the level of Al-Khidmat Health Foundation, which is a central, we have a central working group which looks after the Islamic hospital idea. And the main aims of the group are to develop a standard, to develop different standards of Ibadah-friendly hospital and Islamic hospitals, then to create awareness and do advocacy for these ideas with different hospitals, then providing training to people regarding implementation of Islamic hospital guidelines, then facilitating these implementation procedures at the level of different healthcare facilities, and then ensuring that uniform implementation is done at different healthcare facilities, and standard practices, standard operating procedures are adopted everywhere. And then doing audit and monitoring of these health facilities, which we have successfully done twice over the past 3 years. In terms of adoption of the vision of Islamic hospital, we have decided at the central level that all our fellow hospitals will adopt the vision of Islamic hospital, that is a hospital with excellent professional services to the community in accordance with the principles of Islam. So this vision has been adopted by all the subsidiaries of Al-Khidmat Health Foundation. Then in terms of creating awareness, we have had a series of webinars. Thanks to COVID, that these webinars could be done on Zoom. A new idea was created, and we did these seminars across Pakistan through this Zoom platform. These webinars were highly attended. In one of the webinar, around 500 people from different hospitals attended and listened to our speakers. You can just see here in this slide that this webinar was done on the concept and implementation of the concept. And you can see here Brother Dr. Hafizur Rahman, and other guests, which talked about the idea of Islamic hospital. Another seminar, online seminar was done, the idea of which was to tell people about the practical steps which can be taken in terms of implementing Islamic hospital guidelines. Then at the level of Al-Khidmat Health Foundation, we have developed Islamic hospital indicators. These were already there, around 250 of them. We have just did some revision on them, and the unnecessary repetition has been removed, and a revised list of indicators for implementation of IHC guidelines has been developed. And we have also developed a key to those indicators, which would help not only the healthcare facilities in implementation, but also to carry out audits and assessments of different units. We carried out our second central audit on IHC guidelines. This central audit was carried out in around 15 hospitals. Previously, these 15 healthcare facilities were audited, and then about a year back, again, another audit on the basis of Islamic Hospital Consortium guidelines was carried out. And this audit showed that there were improvements in terms of implementation of IHC guidelines. We plan to do another audit in March next year. And before that audit, we have decided to prepare our units for it so that we could achieve maximum results. A book on Islamic hospital guidelines was already there, but a revised new edition of the book has been produced now, and it is in the process of printing. This has also been done by Al-Khidmat Health Foundation. Then different efforts have been done at the level of different institutions in terms of creating awareness, in terms of developing SOPs at the level of healthcare facilities, and a case study for one of the Ibadah-friendly hospital would be presented by my dear brother, Dr. Muhammad Tahir, who is Secretary General of Pakistan Islamic Medical Association. And I would now hand over to Dr. Tahir for that presentation. If you just allow me, I would share the next presentation. Thank you very much. Over to Dr. Tahir.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I'm thankful particularly to Professor Ishaq Masood. He been to our institution in 2014, and we had a detailed session with him along with Mustafa Kamal Abu Shamsi as well at Railway Hospital and Islamic International Medical College. Before I present a brief description of our project of last few months of a pilot project, I also need to share that Rifa International University and Islamic International Medical College were hosts of the convention of Fima and Fima at Islamabad, where concept of Islamic Hospital Consortium was introduced, and it was decided to develop guidelines to transform all our hospitals and so that they can be Sharia compliant and they are Ibadah friendly. We initiated this project of Islamic hospital at Rifa Health Services with the purpose to align all hospital activities with Sharia guidelines and with the purpose that our hospital is ibadah friendly for everybody in hospital, whether they are doctors, nurses, paramedics, or patients or visitors. And we intend to promote and support a culture of ibadah in hospital. We also have an intention to transform our hospital and the health services from dunya to akhirah, with a concept of from material based to ubudiyah based, and to develop people from external control to have an internal motivation in all their activities at hospital and in their personal lives as well. We have a vision to seek the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through service in healthcare, and to establish and sustain hospitals and patient care services based on standards of Islamic hospital and professional excellence. And with this objective, that we intend to align all our activities with the ultimate purpose of human creation, that is ibadah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Our concept of ubudiyah at Rifa Health Services is that the first element is niyyah, and from niyyah, that niyyah alone we feel is not enough until and unless it is accordance with the Sharia rules, and until and unless we follow Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Unless all these three elements merge together, then niyyah alone may not be enough. And we have values of our university as well, which all have been taken as guiding principles to develop our services according to Sharia guidelines. We also feel and focus on service to mankind, as said by the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that khairun nas man yanfa'un nas, that the best among us would be the best who is best to the mankind and the creation. We identified a core team which included Director of Hospital Services, Medical Superintendent, Head of Departments of 3 departments, Medicine, Pediatrics, and Rehabilitation. We have 2 Sharia advisors, an HR manager, and Islamic Hospital Executive, who looks after and coordinates all activities at our hospital. We as a team sat together and went through the guidelines, all 13 chapters of the book. Although new edition is in process, we had studied this guidelines book together so that we have a clear concept, not on the ideological basis, but also on the practical steps and measures which are important to be taken before we can say that our hospital is Sharia compliant and really ibadah friendly. We have translated these guidelines into our local language, which is Urdu, and this Urdu translation is being edited, and we hope that in a couple of months, this will be available to be used at our hospitals. To have our hospital to be Sharia compliant, we have a Sharia team, although this is not a full board, but we have 3 one Mufti and 2 more people who work as a team to guide on all hospital affairs, so that our all activities are based on principle of halal and haram. And we have inspiration from Maqasid and Qawaid al-Sharia, and we also follow and consider the principle of Rukhsa and Zarura in all hospital activities while dealing with the patients and while providing service to the patients. Our vision of service at our hospital is that all services in hospital should be timely, they should be offered with respect, must have good quality, affordable to every patient, and they must be provided in an overall culture of Islam. This is a roadmap that how did we start. That first we had, as I earlier said, that we had gone through the guidelines and the plan, and after introduction of this plan, we had a gap analysis, and then we customized the guidelines to our local needs and integrated to our policies, trained our staff, and started implementation of these guidelines and rules and principles in our hospital. We have an ongoing system of surveillance that to what extent we are able to implement these guidelines at our hospital, and we are in a process to have a post-implementation assessment at 3 departments of the hospital. Our hospital is almost 350-bedded teaching hospital, and we at the moment are implementing this project at three departments. And once we analyze that what we were able to do and what we could not do, we will analyze and suggest improvement for the future so that this plan can have a better implementation in future. We have grouped IHC guidelines into different parameters, and as Dr. Usman had already said, that we have grouped them into small chunks so that they can be implemented, and also removed some unnecessary duplications. What we have done so far are, we had Darsi Quran and study circles at the departmental levels. We have daily morning meetings where we start with the recitation from the Holy Quran and with its translation and brief explanation. Every month we have Islamic motivational lectures. We have displayed relevant ayah and ahadith at different parts of the hospital. We have a public announcement system, and as our country is predominantly a Muslim state, there is a good mosque at our hospital. Time to time, we have campaigns with the Islamic themes, and we provide books for reading during patient stay in hospital. And we have a fairly good collection of Islamic books at our library in hospital, which for the students and faculty as well. If we look on the right side of the slide, we had lectures in the large format for faculty and residents and students as well. Then we had lecture on core values and medical ethics and patient counseling in small groups as well in 3 departments. That every week for last 3 months, we had a session with each department where some 20 to 25 residents and faculty members are part of that lecture. And our Mufti Saab and our Sharia advisor and faculty, they discuss from the basic principles of halal and haram and ethics and counseling and salah and others to the patient counseling and the service, and to build a culture of Islamic values in hospital. We also had few sessions with the front desk staff, from the receptionist to the nurses to the security guards, so that how they can be motivated to have a culture of, say, Salam and Alhamdulillah, and they are thankful and they are polite to everybody who is coming to hospital in a state of pain and agony when they are suffering from the disease. We recently had a brief analysis of our activities and analyzed that what we could go through in last 3 months is that if you look onto this slide, almost we had achieved almost 30% of those parameters, and we hope that in next 1 year, we will be able to achieve maybe up to 75 to 80% of those parameters, and then we can intend for a formal certification for our hospital so that it can be considered as a Sharia compliant and Ibadah friendly hospital in all areas of service provision in healthcare. And that's all with my presentation. If there are any questions, me and Dr. Usman are here. If there are any questions about Pakistan and what's going on.
Thank you, both of you. That was an excellent presentation. I think, really great work, and need to visit your sites, to learn also from your side. There's one question here. Do you have any? All right, this is for Kamal. I think that it was before, not now. Okay. I suppose anybody else? Any question? Anybody else? Sorry. Anybody else? Can you unshare your slide if that's okay with it? Unshare. Okay. In generally, as you said, I just want to ask a question. Since nobody asked, well, generally all under the Al-Hidmat and also the Fima's group, right? What about the other hospital, other private hospital? Are they very positive, or there were opposing views regarding the adaptation of the Islamic concept, in other private hospital?
I don't think that anybody is opposed to the idea of Islamic hospital here in Pakistan. The idea is great, although in the form of a method of running the hospital, it's new. So it needs to be introduced to other hospitals as well. And if different hospitals listen to the idea, and that is why I said that advocacy is part of our strategy. So if we take this idea to other hospitals, I don't think anybody is going to oppose it, because 97% of Pakistani population is Muslim, and they love Islam, and they would always welcome an initiative which is based upon Islam and Sharia. Yeah.
Well, what about the government hospital? Any collaboration or any so-called program introducing the idea to the other side of the?
Well, that is a very great opportunity, because if government adopts this idea, then it is something which is going to be there at a massive level. So far we haven't tried it, but I think this is something, if we successfully develop a model at our hospital level, then we can basically take it to the government as well for adoption. So the challenge lies with us, that if we are at the first place able to implement as a whole this idea, then we can take it to other stakeholders, including the government.
Okay, great, very good. Okay, any other question? There's question here. Jazakallah, mashallah, jazakallah khair. I think the agency guideline is so comprehensive. Are there any essays for us to read it further? This is by Afif Azrul Firda. The question here, whether they can have access to whatever has been written and the guidelines.
I think the guidelines book is available, and inshallah the newer version would be available within a month or so, and we can send it to Malaysia and Indonesia as well.
Okay. Okay, the question here by Brother Hafiz, I think he will answer my question. He's asking, Brother Ishaq, can you share your experience of involving the government hospital? I think we are lucky here, I think we did the advocacy work and the program seminars, and inviting them, inviting the top people, and they understand the concept. So that makes it easier, because at the end of the day, if we do it, if we implement the Ibadah friendly hospital, Yeah, you should have a better services, and the staff will be better. I think that's, they have to understand that this is for the good of the country, the services that given by the people who understand the meaning of ibadah, or the meaning of ibadah in the real term of the word. Yeah. The other question here.
It's an idea.
Sorry?
It's an idea that we can do collaborative research on the benefits of having a Sharia compliant or ibadah friendly hospital.
Yeah. The impact, and then, yeah, sure. Okay, maybe we can all do a collaborative research here, yeah. Ibadah friendly hospital, not just on a personal basis, but in terms of patients' satisfaction and business. Well, we do that. We have our studies, our research before the some simple studies before the pandemic. Because during the pandemic, it was very difficult. They don't like us because we won't allow the relative and then to come over and be with the patient. But before that, I think we have done it, and definitely there is some impact on that. How can we have new Islamic guideline books? Or this is by Professor Arif Razakman. I think they should be able to contact your site and get the info, right? Yeah. Okay. A lot of question here. Yeah. Okay. So I think time's up already. It's 3:29 in Kuala Lumpur. I think we would like to thank you and congratulate you. Yeah, Shabazz, mashallah. I'm so happy personally. I'm so happy. I think you're a great job, and we will need to learn from you too, inshallah. We will come and learn from you, inshallah. Yeah, with that, thank you from organizing committee for both of you. And excellent. And also
laporan, substansi sama sertifikat diupload.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Rosman and Prof.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Riza. Thank you.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah.
Okay. All right. So, inshallah, we will proceed with our next program. That will be another part of the world, which is a bit far from here too. Then we have already invited Professor Dr. Salisu Ismail, who the former president of Islamic Medical Association of Nigeria, who will be sharing with us on the work of Ibadah Friendly Hospital, the experience from Africa, probably mostly from the Nigeria experience or experimental introduction of the Islamization of the medical services. He's a cardiothoracic surgeon and has been the president of the Nigerian Islamic Medical Association. And I think we will hear from his input on the program that has been introduced in the Nigeria. Please, Dr. Brother Salisu.
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. My brothers and sisters, good afternoon. I can say it's morning for us here in Nigeria. I will want to use this opportunity to present our experience with the Ibadah Friendly Hospital practice in with Nigeria. As you can see, these are the introductions. The outline of this presentation from introduction to recommendation. Actually, the concept of Ibadah Friendly Hospital started in Nigeria in July 2016. This actually begins with the section of Islamic Hospital Consortium organized by Fima when we hosted the 2016 International Council meetings and scientific conference of Federation of Islamic Medical Association in Abuja, Nigeria. A section on Ibadah Friendly Hospital was, anchored, and people get to understand and get some ideas about the concept of Ibadah-friendly hospital. Actually, almost 2 years later, we started an aggressive campaigns, and this followed our visit to Jordan when we attended the International Council meeting of Fima, and also we actively participated in the IHC program, and a lot of discussions were carried out on the concept and practice of Ibadah-friendly hospital care. So actually, after the return from that conference, I took it upon myself to go onward with the active sensitization of our members, within and outside Nigeria. And you can see this program started in September 2018, and lectures were organized, seminars, workshops in all these various states in Nigeria: Sokoto, Kebbi, Kwara State, Kano, Jigawa, Bauchi State, Nasarawa, almost close to 25 states. We were able to organize various sensitization lectures and workshops to the members of Islamic medical associations and other Muslims that were involved in, either working or any affairs to do in the hospital. And this program extended not only in Nigeria, we extended our sensitization program in our neighboring countries, that is Niger Republic, Burkina Faso, Benin Republic, Ghana, and as well as Cote d'Ivoire. And we also had many contacts with other African countries regarding the concept and practice of Ibadah-friendly hospital care. This slide is showing the various sections of the participants, ranging from the hospital staff community to the health institution, student, and so many other places during our sensitization program. This is actually not only a seminar or a workshop. We also anchored some radio and television programs just to also give a wider sensitization campaigns on the concept and the practice of Ibadah-friendly hospital care. This also is showing various sections over the past 3 years on our sensitization program on this. And these also are student sessions. The upper two pictures actually were students. We try to encourage and inculcate the idea in them before they even start practicing as a health workers. And we organize advocacy visits. In the pictures downward, actually the picture on the left is a visit to the Commissioner of Health of Sokoto State, where we intimate him and, talk to him about the Ibadah-friendly hospital and their responsibilities as the leaders in the health sector. And on the right side actually is a visit to the Commissioner for Religious Affairs. And all of these commissioners, were very happy, and they promised to give their maximum support, whatever we needed in terms of implementation of this concept. Recently, not long ago, I visited Niger Republic again, just in November last month. We were able to do a more sensitization lectures about the same concept of Ibadah-friendly hospital care. And these are some of our sections, our visit to Ghana, and is a visit to Benin Republic. This is a section in Burkina Faso. And this is actually when we went for a sensitization visit to Cote d'Ivoire. So in terms of publications, we were able to put forward some little papers, pamphlets, and books Actually, the first one on the left is the book I published, just a handbook that is tagged Ibadah Friendly Hospital Concept and Practice. And this actually give a guide on, the understanding and the implementation strategy. And the one in the middle actually is a pamphlet that we publish, that we use distribute, which is actually saying assist a sick patient to pray. And the last one on the right is a book titled Ablution and Prayer of a Sick Patient. The implementation strategy is actually following all our continuous sensitization seminars. There were so much program, step down program in various states. Anywhere we go, we try to establish a group so that they can also sensitize and step down the program further. And this is what happens in various states: Sokoto, Kebbi, Kaduna State, Jigawa, Kano, so many other places. They went for step down program to their members. So in terms of implementation, you can see some of the successes. On the upper pictures on the left, you can see this is a trolley that was formerly used to put drugs and injections to go and serve medication to the patients. So because of the spirit of Ibadah Friendly Hospital, they got one of the trolley, they converted, they keep it in a small side. They now carved for prayers. They put Quran and some other azkar books. And down close to the trolley, there is a container filled with sand. And this is being used by patients who cannot perform a wet ablution. They can perform tayammum and pray. And close to it is a patient actually who utilized the opportunity to come and pray on the place, put aside. All in the upper pictures, you can see a patient with the chest tube. Actually, this is my patient. When I traveled out, when I came back after about 2 weeks, I met the patient on admission. And when I asked the patient, "Are you praying?" the patient said no. And the reason for not praying is just because he cannot wear his clothes because of the chest tube. And this is what kept this patient almost for close to 2 weeks without prayers. So the last picture on the upper, on the right, we now initiated an apron. Any patient that is having this chest tube, we now give him this apron to use. And this is how they found it easy to pray, because they don't have a wider understanding of prayers. So this is all the ways we are achieving some successes. Downward, actually, you can see hijabs. In special care baby unit, SCBU, where we keep premature babies. So most of the places, women, the mothers doesn't go their hijabs inside. So when they come out, when they come to breastfeed, they have to remove their hijab and enter like that. And, this is exposing against the teaching of Islam. And that is how we initiated ideas in some of these SCBUs. Let them get hijab so that they can keep it for the place. Women can use it after breastfeeding. They can now leave it there, and they will keep cleaning it and washing it like we used to do that with the theater gowns. And the final picture on the lower down on the right actually is a newly established private hospital that is meant to work on the concept of Ibadah Friendly Hospital. And already it has carved an area, one of the cubicle on the ward, for prayers for those patients who can be able to walk around. This actually, along the implementation strategies as well, is a good development is in one of our school of nursing, in order to inculcate this idea and the knowledge. So they introduce a general study course, and this course is run in 1 year, first and second semester. The first semester is GST 201 and is called Introduction to Islamic Perspective in Nursing. And these are the content. And the second year, they have the GST 202, which is the application of Islamic perspective in nursing management. And one of the content there you can see is care of a patient in Islamic nursing, care of critically ill patient in Islam, care of a dead patient, blood transfusion and other related procedures in Islam, prayers and other obligations of patient in Islam, and nurse responsibility. So this gives a wider understanding of the student while they are in school before they join, the workforce. We conducted some series of studies actually from at the beginning of our sensitization campaign until now. This is just some section of the results. The upper chart there is a question to our members of Islamic Medical Association, Muslim health workers, whether they are aware about the concept of Ibadah-friendly hospital. The longer bar there, they say no. It means majority of the members were not aware about the concept of Ibadah-friendly hospital. And that was the beginning of our sensitization. Few of them, they are aware because they participated in Fima programs and some other issues. So another chart on the right is actually a question that asks our Muslim health workers, do you remind your patient to pray when it is time? And you can see the longer bar there, they say sometimes. And some were silent, some not at all. They don't remind patient to pray. And some they said occasionally. So only few of them said, I remind my patient regularly when it is time for prayers. So this shows to us that we need to do a lot of sensitization campaigns to our members to understand their role as Muslim, not only health workers. So another study we conducted not long ago, and this also, it has to do with the prayers for the patients, whether our Muslim patients are praying when they were on admissions. And this is the first pie chart. We can see the result. This is the question. Have you been praying 5 daily prayers during these admissions? And you can see the red portion, which is 31.3%, they said no. So it means over 30% of our patients on admissions are not observing their prayers regularly. And it was only 68.8% that were praying. And the other question said, if you are not praying, what are the reasons for not praying on these admissions? And these are the various reasons, what some patients say they are not strong to pray. Some they say I don't know how to pray. Some say there is no place for pray. So many reasons. Some they say there is no water, no clean environment. These are the various reasons. So this alerted us that we need to do a lot as Muslim health workers as well as the management to provide this needed facility for patients to be praying when they were on admission. So the next chart you can see, do you find it easy to pray while on this admission? That is the one on the left. So even those who are praying, you can see 50% of them, they are not finding it easy to pray. So those who responded that, yes, we are praying, but 50% of them, they are not finding it easy to pray. So they are just trying, they are pushing to just get any available opportunity to pray. So this shows that provision of prayer facilities is optimal necessary for us as a Muslim health workers in our private and public health institutions. So the one on the right said, if you are not praying, are you comfortable with the situation? You can see 95.5% they said no. So it means they are not happy. And this is indication that their spiritual needs is not met. So they are not happy. And most of them may not even heal well because they are Muslim, they are not observing prayers well, so they are not happy about the situation. And finally, on this study, also, we now asked the Muslim, health workers in the survey, we still ask the patients, did the Muslim staff on duty remind you when it is time for prayers? You can see 75% of these patients, they said no. So it means 75% they said our Muslim brothers and sisters are not reminding us to pray during this admission. It's only a few percentage of them, they say yes. So this is very serious. We remind ourselves when it is time for prayers. When we are doing seminars, workshop, we stop to go and pray. But when our Muslim brothers and sisters are on admission in our midst in the hospital, we don't tell them that, please pray, it is time. So this is very serious. And on the right side, these are the various advices by the patients on how to improve the situation. Along the way, also, this is an interventional study. We assess our interventions after almost 2 years, and we now put on a study. This is the title of this paper, The Impact of Nationwide Sensitization Campaign on the Knowledge, Acceptance, and Practice of Ibadah-Friendly Hospital Concept among Muslim health workers in Nigeria. So in this study, actually, we interviewed about 550 participants, and we delivered about 55 sensitization seminars and advocacies in 17 states in Nigeria over the period of 2 years. And you can see there is significant increase in the knowledge, acceptance and practice of Ibadah-friendly hospital care among the Muslim health workers in Nigeria. And we found that there is statistically significant difference in when we compare the second and the first result. So this shows to us that we need to do more in terms of sensitization, seminars, and advocacies on the concept of Ibadah-friendly hospital care. So finally, before I close, this is just a brief summary of the last 1 year activities, our activities on Ibadah-friendly hospital care. At the national level in Nigeria, we are able to develop the strategic plan on Ibadah-friendly hospital care concept for 5 years. That is a 5-year strategic plan about the concept of an implementation of Ibadah-friendly hospital care. This was done in January, and we are gradually following our step to see how far we can go. Then we formed the national team to coordinate the activities of the Ibadah-friendly hospital care in Nigeria in February 2021. We had some lectures on the concept and implementation of Ibadah-friendly hospital care in March. I anchored some television program about the concept of Ibadah-friendly hospital care in our state capital in Abuja. And we have some lectures presentation also, in some hospitals in March, and April. And we went for advocacy visit, as I shown earlier on. More lectures actually come to health workers. And also we conducted a survey like I highlighted earlier on. And also we visited our neighbors in Niger Republic to do more sensitization about this concept and practice of Ibadah-friendly hospital care. So actually this is the summary of what we have done in the last 1 year and what are the challenges. Actually, during the COVID period, there were restrictions of movement due to the situation, and this affect the routine program we have been doing about the sensitization and lectures. But ultimately, with the development of the online programs, now it opens up way for wider communication through webinars, as we are doing it now. And also this situation, it enables people to ponder about their creation, about the way how the whole world stands still. So this makes people to start thinking you can easily, talk about Allah and how you can, bring attention of people to their senses. They need to turn back to their creator. And of course, it allows establishment of network for learning and strengthening relationship, as we can all witness it now. So in conclusion, we can see Ibadah-friendly hospital, concept is relatively new in Africa. However, the content is not actually new to them because they all understand what Allah said, what religion said, what guidance they needed to do as in the teaching of Islam. Then so much effort has been put forward in sensitizing Muslim health workers about the concept of Ibadah-friendly hospital in Africa, especially in Nigeria, and a lot of outcomes were positive. We have seen a lot of attempt or effort to implement the concept and practice of Ibadah-friendly hospital. So we need to do more effort, more collaborations, more advocacy in order to promote the understanding of Ibadah-friendly hospital care in the whole world. So recommendation, I want to offer this recommendation as follows. There is need for this forum to establish an international network on Ibadah-friendly hospital care to continue these activities with proper coordination. There is need to initiate an international training program, whether online, basically, so that we can now do more, international networks and seminars to enable us to understand this concept better and practice this better. And there's need to pool activities, and researches for proper documentation and publications. So I suggested that all these presentations that were presented, if possible, let us collate all the presentations so that we make them available for the participant of this program, so that we can now from there continue to keep sharing ideas so that we can expand our understanding about this concept. And there's need to establish an international academy. Like I mentioned, Dr. Ishaq has done a lot in Malaysia. So I will suggest that the Ibadah-friendly hospital academy should be expanded so that even if it is online activities, online program, online courses, we can all share our ideas so that we can go a long way about understanding this concept and its practice. Thank you very much for your time.
Professor Isaac, your mic is mute.
Okay. Sorry. Okay. All right. Thank you. I think it was an excellent, Allahu Akbar, mashallah. That was really a great job. And I think, within 2 or 3 years, you see the outcome, which of course is from the blessing and help Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I think I will open it. I think there are a number of questions here. Then we will have, we adjust a bit the time because our last speaker, our sister Rihanna, because the only lady speaker today, so we have to give a special attention to her then, inshallah. Currently it's about 8:30 or so. She has to pray. So we need to have a break after this. I hope all of you will be able to wait for a while because we have to adjust the time a bit. And then we will go for the question. Can I read the question here? So I'll read it for you and then we will go from there. How do you train and motivate your hospital staff to make the hospital Masjid Ibadah? This is from our brother Dr. Abdul Aziz from Kuwait.
Alhamdulillah, like I said, over the first 3 years, we conducted over 50 sensitization lectures and seminars. And we visited, because in Nigeria and other neighboring countries, we have an established Islamic medical associations. So we use a platform just to organize a program specifically on Ibadah friendly. And if we go for any program before we finish, we have to include the lectures on the concept of Ibadah friendly hospital. Even last week, we held a national council meeting for our officials. So we just carve out 15 to 20 minutes. We have to talk about the concept and practice of Ibadah friendly hospital. So we organize lectures in the hospital and people are participated, and so many people, 80 to 90 something percent they will all be happy of receiving such talks. In fact, there were retired personnel at a particular time, they were saying, as if they have wasted all their time in practice because they don't know this concept.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
actually,
okay.
our people, we are doing a bit.
Yeah. Okay. I think that is it's very true actually. When our experience too, because people don't understand, has never been exposed to this concept of ibadah friendly hospital. Once they are exposed and they know that's our duty, then they will realize that they have to come in and help the program in whatever ways that's possible. Yeah. And number two, are there any course for students also about this concept? Well, we don't have such a course, but we have been doing, I mean, from the Islamic Hospital Consortium in our side. But just to answer Dr. Salisu's suggestion about the training, we have established our Academy of Ibadah Friendly Hospital. Then that's why we're going to start our chaplaincy program, inshallah. And we will continue doing publication and research. Maybe we are planning to produce journals specifically for the Ibadah Friendly Hospital. Okay, and when I look at the figures, your statistic on the number of people who would like to perform the prayer, that was, and also perform 68%, that is real good. I mean, in Malaysia, we were only about 20% or so initially, I think that's really great. Okay, any other question? Any other question from the floor, from the participant?
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Salam warahmatullah.
I am Dr. Fin from Thailand.
Okay.
How many Muslim in Nigeria? You are the majority of the population, or Muslim are majority of the population, or the Christian?
Yeah, so Assalamualaikum. In Nigeria, we have about 200 million population, and 60% were Muslims. And majority of the Muslims were dominated in the northern part of Nigeria.
Okay, all right. Okay, so only 60%. Arifin, 60%. Yeah. Just like Malaysia.
How many Islamic hospital in your country? How many Islamic hospital?
Yeah, most of the hospital were a young hospital, actually smaller clinics, but we have about 25. The smaller clinics under our organizations, but they are not well established actually hospitals. The well established one, maybe the highest we talk of 50 beds. So, and these ones were about like 5 in the country.
Very good work, Alhamdulillah. Thank you very much.
Okay, any other question? All right, how can we get access to the published books on this concept? I think there are some books. We have a few books, and then we can share it, I mean, we have books previously, and as mentioned, our brothers in Pakistan has done a great job in publishing the books guideline. And this can be as references for those who needs those concepts and so on. Yeah. Any other question? You want to add on that, Saiso? On the books? You want to add?
Okay. Yeah, I think what I will advise, maybe through your network, we should be able to see how we can offload these books, maybe probably or online, so that people can access and read.
Yeah, inshallah.
And also some of the papers published.
Yeah. Okay.
So I want to ask more again. And government support you or not, because your majority are Muslim. So the government is the president Muslim. is Muslim or the cabinet, all of them are Muslim. They support the Islamic,
Government. You
the
mean the government?
Yeah. So they support your about the Islamic activity in your country.
Sorry, so you got it? You got the question?
Okay, the support from the government.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Actually, in the northern part of Nigeria, which comprises about 20 states out of 36. So majority, we can say the 90 to 95% are Muslims. So activities are quite easy and smooth. You know, the government, in fact, in some hospital, you can see the chief, executive is leading prayers, as the imam. So we found it easy actually, and there is support from them in terms of understanding and providing all what we needed. And also the general government, like you see in my presentation, some commissioners for health and religious affairs, they are already ready for us to work together. But in the northern part, in the southern part of Nigeria, that is where the Muslims were not significant in number. So in some cases, you can come across some hostility, even from the community, talk less of the government. Government doesn't look at much about issues of Islam, so they don't give much contribution or support. But actually in the northern part, there is some degree of support by the government.
Okay. All right. Any other question before we end? Sister Rehana is available already. I think all of us are here. We have not. We are still in the webinar. No. Can you share? Sorry, I'm just reading. Can you share at least some of the important contents on the concept to all participants through the email ID? Okay, we will do that. We will do that, inshallah. Sister Rana, is there? Assalamualaikum. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for your very educating lectures. Could you kindly share copies of books on Islamic medicine and Ibadah-friendly hospital or web link to access such article? Okay, we will try to help and do that. I think we will share with inshallah.